ability in the game. You got to get used to playing with it. I doubt that it'll change significantly. I'm sure that they will change the cost or the durations or little tweaks like that. But it's here to stay, so people are definitely going to have to get used to it. But for the time being, it is everywhere here to stay because camouflage units all over the map here. Nice little attack here coming from Nystrom. You can see his Grenadiers, Vet 3. These Gladiator Riflemen have no hesitation whatsoever, just charging on in here and throwing grenades. Unfortunately, completely whiffing the grenade, taking a bunch of casualties and having to leave. And it looks like for the time being, these Grenadiers are taking care of that. Here comes yet another popping out of camo attack here against this against this pack. The poor pack is now retreating towards friendly troops. Great move there, and it looks like the troops are going to be able to buffer it just in time. These riflemen taking some extra shots, and no, the pack gets away and camouflages. Meanwhile, these riflemen are now very exposed. You can see here we do have a nice medic bunker with a heavy machine gun team in it, but constantly attacking from all angles. We have the Greyhound armored car flying in here, just kind of buying some time and having to get the hell out of there. But Greyhound armored car, you got to be careful, man. There are Panzerschrecks pointed right at the rear of your vehicle. Oh, damaged engine. Will they be able to get him? By the way, there's been a little bit of capping going on north, but I want to follow this action here. We'll see if we get a parting Panzerschreck shot here or not. You never know. It's moving quite slowly. Anyhow, up here we had a whole bunch of camo riflemen sneaking around, capping stuff, putting some pressure on this area, but for the time being, they're getting out of there. And single Panzerschreck. Oh, long distance shot. MVP award goes to that gentleman there with the Panzerschreck, taking out the Greyhound armored car. Meanwhile, a bunch of whole gaggle of Rangers are just hanging out over here. So, looking pretty good here in terms of control. RiflesReady is just putting so much pressure against Nystrom. Nystrom has got beautiful positioning in almost all of these battles, and yet RiflesReady is able just to kind of pick out the weaknesses in the lines and kind of, flank around and that sort of thing. So, lots of good positioning here by both players. You can see now that looks like Nystrom is just trying to recapture some of these points that he's been losing due to all the camouflage incursions going on his side of the map. But, once again, not losing sight of the ultimate victory, you can see Nystrom does continue to have dominant control of these victory points, and as a result is just barely winning right now, 304 points to 208 for RiflesReady. Oh, the invisible anti-tank gun! Look at that. Oh, check it out, man! We got a howitzer all built here. So looks like these engineer riflemen just finished building their howitzer, which now is firing all the way downtown, taking some pot shots here at this bunker, blowing up a medic. This howitzer now is just here to stay. That thing is going to be sitting inside the base until it's almost impossible to kill those things because you have to rush the base to do it. But the howitzer is just going to kind of constantly bombard this area every now and then. So looks like we got a little bit of backcapping going on here, but RiflesReady had no problem defending against it. Once again, just kind of peeking over here and seeing how this bombardment's going on. But by the way, note on these small maps the range of this howitzer. The range of this howitzer just goes all the way across the map. You can pretty much shoot anywhere. You can shoot your opponent's base. You can shoot the middle, the left, the right flank. Just solid positioning there in that howitzer. So I'll have to keep an eye out for the sound of that thing because sometimes it's hard to look out for that. Meanwhile, anti-tank gun here just taking some pot shots. We got heavy machine guns, courtesy of the German Wehrmacht, sorry. I know I offend all of my German viewers whenever I don't pronounce these things correctly. Meanwhile, we're chucking hand grenades, attacking with the machine guns to the back there. Looks like the engineer riflemen here are doing a great job. Engineer riflemen, by the way, can throw hand grenades. I wasn't overtly aware of that, and neither was Nystrom apparently. So it's good to know. All right, so things are kind of calming down a little bit. We got a little bit of back capping going on at this point, and check out these medics here, and it looks like RiflesReady just happened not to notice them, but they are gathering bodies here, and a little bit of repairing going on for this bunker at the same time. So more camouflage rangers sneaking on in here, as well as just regular rangers and the minesweeper squad moving on out. Let's see, camouflage rangers looking for some kills here. We're going to see they're going to try and get into some trouble for sure. Meanwhile, heavy machine gun team guarding this flank, and where's the artillery strike happening? Oh, there we go. They were definitely calling in the artillery strike. That was what was up with that. And the artillery strike is just wrecking this place. Oh my god, taking out, it looks like it took out a couple of pioneers and the medics, and then finally just taking out the entire medic bunker. So that's definitely, these guys were calling in on that. And we do have some howitzer shots going on over here as well. So with all of this forward sight, you can see that this rear howitzer here has just adjusted itself to take a couple of pot shots up here, getting a bunch of kills, 4 kills for that howitzer. That is a mean position in this game. So I'd like to take a moment here just to pause this game and just kind of review where we're at now. So kind of the early game footsie between the machine guns and the riflemen is now clearly over, and now we've moved into late game where everybody has all access to almost all of their commander trees, and they have a whole lot of munitions and that sort of thing. And we're starting to see a shift towards artillery and howitzers and all that kind of stuff. This is the late game infantry army that everybody has to look out for, and that's definitely pretty strong there. Let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and swap on over to Nystrom. We can see the mini-map colors have changed. Be aware of that. Nystrom is currently losing the central position here, but we'll take a look at his defensive position and where he's at and what abilities he's using. He is calling down a Firestorm rocket barrage. Looks like, sorry, a Firestorm. Yeah, here it is. Firestorm going on right up here in the top, trying to prevent capture at this point. Wow! Totally taking out that entire rifle squad. It looked like even a single rocket did all of that damage there. So definitely good use of that there. There was a little propaganda going on. I have no idea where that was at the time being here, but we'll see. Just constantly using his abilities. And at level 8, King Tiger is certainly a possibility if he wants to avoid spending money for a little while. All these groups of Vet 3 Grenadiers are moving out. These guys are really brutal. Got to look out for them. Definitely putting some pressure in the middle here, and note, by the way, these sneaky rangers are still there. It's a little harder for me to see all the sneaky rangers while this is going on, but I'll keep an eye out there. Oh, it looks like we got, is that going to be a howitzer shot? Yes, we have a howitzer just taking a bunch of whiffs here at the center, guarding the middle. Oh, getting a bunch of kills there. He's going to have to retreat, and now we have just a huge incursion of infantry here, putting a lot of pressure on these grenadiers. Meanwhile, it looks like a second, more secure bunker has been set up. That's being upgraded to a medic bunker. Really important late game. Medic bunkers are fantastic because what with the way that German veterancy works, whenever they fill up, they do spit out a full Vet 3 Grenadier squad, which is just priceless late game. Here we just have normal old Grenadiers with the MG42 upgrade. And man, you know, this heavy machine gun team is just really paying for itself. I really like that. So, anyhow. Meanwhile, we have a whole bunch of demolitions engineers and heavy machine gun team guarding this right-hand flank once again. I'm very happy to see that being used. I think that's pretty cool. And these rangers have finally revealed themselves and started capping the left-hand side. And Nystrom is probably feeling pretty constricted at this point. And notice these details, just picking up the fallen weapons and stuff. I do like that, not letting your weapons fall into your opponent's hands and that sort of thing. But for the time being, it looks like, oh, but except for this one heavy machine gun team, I was going to say Nystrom's got pretty good control. You'll see that he's activating his Inspired Zeal here. And meanwhile, just kind of getting ready to kind of poke around here and deal with some of these incursions going on. So constant fighting going on for this map. Real disagreement over who owns what. A lot of territories going back and forth. And now it looks like Nystrom is finally going to be able to grab the center area here that he's kind of out of range of this machine gun. What could it be? We have yet more howitzer strikes going on. And where exactly are these going? It looks like howitzers are going right into the front of his base. I kind of wonder why he picked that target instead of firing more towards the center. But, you know, maybe he just wants to start doing some damage here. It's unlikely he'll take out this building right away, but you can see he got a couple of good direct hits there. So we'll stay tuned with that and see how that's going, but I don't think he's going to get anything just yet. But it is nice to be able to put pressure on your opponent's front door, that's for sure. It's kind of like the Calliope effect. You know, once an armor player gets a Calliope out there, he just has to every now and then fire a Calliope right into your base, and in a long enough game, he will level your base into the ground. So, you know, I do like seeing him at least begin putting that kind of pressure out there. So, meanwhile, Nystrom just kind of doing his thing. He's got pretty good control, but man, there are so many infantry running around. He really needs something to deal with that. I'm surprised we haven't seen a terror officer out of him just yet. There's some fun stuff you can do with that. Yet more camouflage going on. Camo units just constantly getting the jump on all these Vet 3 units out there. So for any infantry commanders who have a lot of trouble against Vet 3 Grenadiers and that sort of thing, just, you know, get a look and feel of this playstyle, because camo is definitely the featured ability here, for better or for worse, depending on your position as to whether or not you think camo is balanced or whatnot. I'm not going to get too involved in that, but again, I do think, you know, sort of hate the game, not the player kind of attitude in terms of, but don't hate the game, man, because I love Relic too. But you know, the game, you know, the camo abilities out there, learn how to use it, that sort of thing. Oh, we got yet more. This looks like an actual artillery strike just going off here. No, I'm just kidding. That was definitely a howitzer blast coming in here. And we do have a King Tiger has just entered the battlefield. King Tiger moving up. Surely can shrug off these bazooka rounds and that sort of thing. Driving away the infantry. You'll notice that King Tiger, I point this out every time, has got 12 against infantry on a possible scale of 0 through 9. It has 12. Doing some serious damage here, what with the MG42 upgrades and just the terrific damage that it can do. So King Tiger on the field right now. We'll have to see where that's going to go, but he's likely just going to plant that right in the center of the map and kind of try and regain some control here. But he does need to look out for howitzers and all that sort of stuff. You can see that it looks like that last artillery strike took out the front Wehrmacht quarters. Interesting to see if he's going to put any priority in rebuilding that. But pack anti-tank guns hang out here. Grenadiers just crawling away, trying not to get too taken out here. And you can see here this heavy crushing King Tiger just taking out all of this territory, just sorry, all this heavy brush here, and putting some damage onto these riflemen and that sort of thing. King Tiger moving right along here, and now just discovering that this anti-tank gun is here. Boom! One shot. What does a heavy armor do? And look at this, making sure to use his propaganda in order to be able to keep this infantry properly slowed and that sort of thing. But what does a heavy tank do when it sees a whole bunch of anti-tank guns? It just shoots them right in the face. And I think that's always the proper response. Don't bother trying to wait for somebody else to take care of it. My God, those shots are so effective. This thing is just blowing up everybody here. So tons and tons and tons of good stuff going on here. Looks like, again, King Tiger relatively unscathed. You can see maybe it took a single shot from an anti-tank gun, but other than that, having no problem here, just kind of putting lots of pressure on these infantry. So I like seeing that going on here. This pack is, however, wise to kind of move out of the way. It looks like we do have some howitzer shots now coming in towards the center here. But unfortunately, it looks like the King Tiger has kind of moved away. And I think that's important, by the way, is to remember that when your opponent has a whole lot of howitzers and things like that, just kind of stay moving. You don't want to get too comfy in any one spot. It looks like this Sherman here was trying to flank around. I'm not sure what this Sherman was doing. Maybe trying to get some flanks out, but you can see even the rear armor of the King Tiger has a pretty good chance at deflecting rounds here. So rear armor hit, not doing too much. This poor Sherman tank, though, definitely getting shot in the rear armor. His main gun destroyed. He has definitely no time left in this world. And boom, Sherman gets taken out. Look at that King Tiger, man. Almost no damage whatsoever. So really effective there. Looks like maybe this anti-tank gun is moving up to try and get some shots off. I do like that it's camouflaged. That's a good use there. It makes it feel a lot like a German pack, that sort of thing. Anti-tank gun moving up. Is he going to take any shots? I guess he doesn't have sight range yet for that, but he's definitely moving up. Pack's moving around, regaining control once again for Nystrom. And by the way, Nystrom, it has, he is in the lead here, 262 against 206. So still maintaining control, but this constant back and forth is enough to make the game kind of even still. So, by the way, during all this time here, looks like we do have a tank depot up here for Rifles Ready. You can see this howitzer is repositioning itself, sure to fire again. And the M10 tank destroyer is just kind of moving into the base, poking around, doing some damage, opening fire at infantry, maybe even giving sight up here for an artillery strike, that sort of thing. We can see howitzer coming in right now. He's definitely using his howitzer, firing right at the front of this headquarters, trying to get some free kills and putting some pressure on these bunkers and that sort of thing. That's always nice because this M10 forces your opponent basically to have to react to it. He needs to withdraw some troops from the front in order to kind of scare you off.